O you who claim to await me, I speak to you from the shadows your silence has woven. I, the son of the broken rib, I, the heir of the stolen garden, I, the child of tears that became rivers of revolution. Do you know what you commemorate in these nights? Do you weep without understanding? Mourn without witnessing? Strike your chests while your souls slumber in comfort? Listen well. My mother was 18 when the world collapsed. 18 when empires were built on her grief. I am the Mahdi, son of Zahra, and I have not forgotten neither the tears, nor the door, nor the fire, nor the darkness that fell when light was extinguished. When I rise, it will not only be for Karbala, it will be for Medina too, for the first injustice that made all others possible. They say the Prophet died on a Monday, but I tell you, creation itself held its breath, and only my mother kept it breathing. She was there when his blessed head grew heavy, when his breath became prayer, when his soul kissed the world goodbye. She held him, her father, her prophet, her only shelter, and whispered, "Oh, my father, he has answered a Lord who called him. Oh, my father, to Gabriel we announce his death. Oh, my father, the garden of Firdaus is his abode." But while she wept over his pure body, while Ali washed him with tears for water, the city was already dividing his inheritance. Not the coins, those were few. Not the property, that was nothing. But his authority, his pulpit, his position. They met in Saqifah while his body was still warm. They voted while his daughter's tears were still wet. They declared a successor while the one he chose at Ghadir was bent over his grave. Where was the Ummah when the house of revelation became the house of sorrow? Here, eternity itself trembles. Here, even angels look away. Here, the throne of God shook with rage. They came with fire. Let that sentence rest in your hearts. They came to the house of Fatimah with fire. When Ali would not pledge allegiance, when my mother would not surrender her home, They brought torches to the door, behind which Quran was revealed. It was said to him, the one leading the group, "But Fatima is in this house." He replied, "Even if." These words, "even if," carved themselves into the conscience of creation. The willingness to burn the daughter of your prophet for the sake of power. They crushed her behind the door that once opened for Gabriel, the door that angels sought permission to enter, became the weapon that broke her ribs, that killed my brother Mohsin in her womb. She fell crying, "O my father, O messenger of God, see what we have faced after you." And where were the Ansar? Where were the Muhajirun? Where were those who claimed to die for the Prophet? Silent. Their silence then echoes in your silence now. The silence today, when Gaza burns, when Yemen starves, when the innocent are slaughtered in Kashmir, when the oppressed call and find no answer. The same silence, the same betrayal, the same victory of power over truth. Fadak was not just land. Fadak was her father's gift, witnessed by heaven, sealed by verses. Give to the near of kin their right. The very Quran they claimed to God became evidence against them. But they came to her with twisted law, demanding witnesses for what God himself had witnessed. Prophets leave no inheritance, they claim, as if Solomon did not inherit from David, as if John did not inherit from Zachariah, as if the Quran was suddenly mute. She stood in their court, my mother, the part of the Prophet, she who the verse of purification descended for, and they asked her for witnesses. She brought Ali, Hassan, Hussein, Ayman, the Prophet's nursemaid, and, as per his own words, a woman of paradise. They rejected them all, as if the pure could not testify to purity, as if the truthful needed proof of truth. This was not about date palms and watermelons. This was the first blow, to see if she would break, to test if Ali would rise, to measure how much injustice the family of the Prophet would swallow. And you who celebrate Islamic governance, which governance is built on stolen inheritance, which caliphate begins with denying the daughter of your Prophet her right. She entered their mosque, wrapped in her father's cloak, walking exactly as he used to walk. And when he stood to speak, they thought the Prophet had risen from his grave. She sought neither pity nor permission, only witness. She came with proof. O people know that I am Fatima, and my father is Muhammad. She recited Quran to those who had forgotten it. She explained inheritance law to those who had distorted it. She reminded of Ghadir to those who feigned amnesia. Then she turned to the women of Medina and spoke words that should shake every Muslim home today. You lie in wait for calamities to befall us. She exposed their crime, not with emotion, but with evidence. Not with tears alone, but with tabyeen, the clarification that strips falsehood naked. But power had already pronounced its verdict. Truth had become inconvenient to empire. Power was their religion now. And today, when your scholars stay silent, when your leaders shake hands with tyrants, when your communities abandon justice for comfort, remember that this began with ignoring Fatima's sermon. My mother lived 75 days after the Prophet. Some say 95. But what are numbers to measure an infinity of grief? Ali built her a small house outside Medina, Bayt al-Huzn, the house of sorrow, where she could weep without the city complaining, where she could mourn without disturbance. Every morning she would go to the Prophet's grave, place her face upon the earth and whisper. What harm could befall one who smelled the dust of Ahmed's grave, if they were to never again smell precious perfumes for all of time? Calamities have been poured upon me that, had they been poured upon the days, they would have turned into nights. She wept until the angels wept. She grieved until the earth grieved. And still, she never cursed by name, never sought revenge, never turned from God. This is the patience you misunderstand. Not the patience of acceptance, but the patience of witness. The patience that documents for history. The patience that preserves truth for the one who will rise with the sword for me. She knew. She bathed herself, prepared her shroud, and gathered her children. To Hassan and Hussein, she whispered secrets that would echo in Karbala. To Zainab, she gave the strength that would shake the throne of Yazid. To Ali, she spoke her will. I enjoin you to bury me at night, when the eyes have become still and the sights are asleep. And let none of those who wronged me and usurped my right pray over me. And do not permit any one of them to attend my funeral. Then she turned to the Qibla and spoke to her Lord. Her last days were a constant prayer, a quiet turning towards her Lord. Her supplication was a single, focused request. Oh, the ever-living, oh, the self-subsisting, and join me with my father Muhammad. Then, with her prayer answered, she lay down, faced the Qibla, and placed her hand under her cheek. She spoke her final words. I am to be taken now. Let no one uncover me. At 18 years and a few months, my mother returned to her father, returned to the presence of the Lord of Muhammad and Fatimah. At 18, younger than many who read these words, she had lived a lifetime of revelation, an age of suffering, an eternity of patience. Her grave remains hidden. Let that truth burn. The daughter of your prophet has a grave you cannot find, because she did not want you there. Before I speak of blood that flows still, before I name the daughters of my mother in Palestine and Yemen, let me address those who sit on pulpits my grandfather built, who wear turbans my father blessed, who claim authority my mother died defending, to the scholars who trade truth for comfort. You passe the details of wudu, while Gaza performs tayammum with its own dust and blood. You debate the length of beards, while the beards of our elders are soaked in tears for their martyred children. You issue declarations about music, while you are deaf to the music of missiles over Sana'a, the symphony of suffering in Kashmir, and the ache of the mothers of Bahrain. Where are your declarations against those who shake hands with the murderers of Muslims, who normalize with them while professing to be from the righteous progeny? Where is your outrage when our sisters are stripped of hijab in prisons you pretend don't exist? You know 40 narrations about my mother's tasbih, but cannot narrate one condemnation of those who continue to crush her. Tell me, you who memorize that she died at 18, what have you done for the 18-year-olds dying today in her name? What have you done for the fetus murdered for convenience? What have you done for the elderly encouraged to die to save the corrupt regime? To the leaders who wear our titles, you call yourselves custodians of holy sites, while you host those who desecrate Al-Aqsa and murder the women and children. You declare yourselves commanders of the faithful, while the faithful command you to stop, to speak, to stand. And you sit silent, counting your gold. Every throne you protect is built on the foundations of the house they burned. Every treaty you sign is written with the ink that stole Fadak. Every silence you purchase is paid with the inheritance of orphans my mother would have sheltered. To the preachers who perform our grief, you make my mother's suffering into theatre, professional tears at profitable gatherings. You narrate the door, the fire, the rib. Then you walk out and vote for those who bring doors, fires, and broken ribs to every home. You curse Shim once a year, but shake hands with 1,000 Shims daily. You wear black for my mother, but dress your silence in the white of surrender. Your majalis have become what Saqifah was, a gathering that speaks of justice while justice bleeds outside your doors. The question I pose, here is what I ask you, O inheritors of titles without truth. If my mother appeared at your door tonight, bruised, burned, seeking sanctuary, would you shelter her? Or would you check first with your governments, your donors, your diplomatic relations? Would you issue a statement of deep concern while she bleeds on your threshold? Would you call for both sides to show restraint while one side holds the door and the other is crushed behind it? I know your answer, because I see it daily in how you treat her children. You are not the heirs of Muhammad and Ali. You are the heirs of those who met at Saqifah. You are the heirs of those who murdered Hussein at Karbala. You are not the followers of Zahra. You are the children of those who brought the fire. And when I return, I will not be confused by your robes, your turbans, your titles, your wealth, your power, your numbers, or your libraries. I will ask one question. When Fatima's daughters cried out in this age, did you answer or did you collaborate with their oppressors? Your silence today is your signature on the crime of yesterday. Your cooperation now is your presence at Saqifah then. O you who weep for my mother, your tears are mere theatre if you are silent while her daughters in Palestine relive her anguish. You beat your chests for her broken rib while you break the ribs of Yemen with your silence. You curse those who stole Fadak while you pay taxes to those who steal nations. You mourn baby Mohsin while the babies of Gaza are pulled from the rubble. My mother's blood did not dry. It flows in every Palestinian mother's veins. It speaks in every Lebanese father's resistance. It cries in every Kashmiri's chains. It burns in every truthful word spoken against the tyrants you call leaders. When the woman of Jenin Jerusalem, Al-Quds and Hebron stand before tanks. They are Fatimah at the door. When the mothers of Dahia pull their children from the ruins, they are Fatimah after the fire. When the daughters of Kashmir disappear into darkness, they are Fatimah, whose grave you'll never find. And you dare claim you're waiting for me? I am waiting for you to fulfill your covenant, so that the Lord permits my return. I am waiting for you. Are you truly waiting for me? Do you understand that? Do you not know the depth of your treason, of your sin? Every day I am barred from returning is a day that you have failed in your covenant. I am the son of the woman you abandoned. Is it surprising that you abandoned me while professing to yearn for me? I am the heir of the right you surrendered. Is it then surprising that you surrendered to the Taghut, to the tyrants, to the oppressors, and the Satans in human form, in the name of ease and conformity? I am the child of the grief you caused. When I rise, I will not ask who you followed. I will ask, what did you do when they burned the house of Zahra? Not then, now. For they burn it every day in every home they demolish. In every mosque they destroy. In every woman, man, and child they oppress and terrorize. In the name of Islam, my mother died defending. I make this vow upon my mother's hidden grave. I will return. Not for glory, not for power, but for every tear she shed that went uncomforted, for every right she claimed that went unheard, for every truth she spoke that went unheeded. I will stand where she stood in the mosque and complete her sermon. I will walk where she walked to her father's grave and tell him, the trust is fulfilled. I will find her hidden grave, I who know where it lies, and I will weep there as she wept for her father. But first, I will restore what was stolen. Not just fadak, but dignity, justice, the right of the oppressed to speak, the right of women to inherit, the right of truth to triumph over falsehood. Every Fatima of this age, every woman whose dignity is bartered for power, every mother who lost her Mohsin, every daughter whose inheritance was stolen, every sister whose house was burned, will find me not just an avenger, but a son. For I am not just the Mahdi. I am the Yusuf of Zahra, the son of the Lady of Light. A light, no matter how long darkness seems to reign, always returns. If you truly love my mother, then be her voice today. When they come to burn the houses of truth, stand at the door. When they steal the inheritance of the oppressed, speak in the mosque. When they crush the weak with their power, document their crimes. When they silence the daughters of Zahra, become their tongues. For know this, everyone who stands at a door to protect the innocent stands with Fatimah. Everyone who speaks truth in the face of power continues her sermon. Everyone who refuses to let oppression be normalized keeps her grave hidden from the hypocrites. And everyone who stays silent, who shakes the hand that crushed her, who prays behind those who burned her house, who normalizes the theft of fadak in every age, you are not waiting for me. You are hiding from me. For when I come as the son of Zahra, and I will ask you, where were you when they broke my mother's rib? Not in history. Today. Where were you today? Until that dawn, when I emerge, know that I walk among you, visiting her hidden grave, weeping for her tears, counting those who remember and those who forget. In every majlis where her name brings tears, I am there. In every home where her example brings strength, I am there. In every heart that breaks for injustice as hers broke, I am there. But I am also watching those who use her name for division, those who weep for her but oppress their wives, those who curse her enemies but become them, those who commemorate her death but kill what she lived for. Remember, she did not die for you to merely mourn. She died for you to rise. She did not suffer for you to be comfortable. She suffered for you to be truthful. She did not resist for you to surrender. She resisted for you to continue. Until we meet her at her hidden grave, you and I and the few who remain faithful carry her light. For I am coming, and I carry the list of those who stood at doors, and the list of those who brought the fire. Choose which list you want your name upon. And those who have oppressed shall know to what final place they will return. That final place of return is my day. But until that day my lament is eternal. Every breath I take is this call. I stand where no one else can stand, and I speak the words of the son to the mother. Peace be upon you, O my mother. Peace be upon you, O oppressed one. Peace be upon you, O martyr. Indeed, we belong to God, and to him we will return. And I, the son of the wronged, am the appointed return. And from him alone is all ability, and he has authority over all things.